Hello and thanks for watching. Well, it's been a while, and that's because I haven't had any problems with the car since I repaired it, although as you can see now there is an airbag light on, which has been happening. Well, it first happened about a year ago. I cleared the code and it didn't come back. Then it happened about 6 months ago. Again, I cleared the code and it didn't come back. But within the last couple of weeks it's been quicker between when it's come on, when I've cleared the code, and when it's come back. So last time I cleared the code it came back straight away, make me think that it's going to be easier to actually find what the fault is. I've checked the code already. I'll show you what it is in a minute, and I've got an idea where the problem might lie, but I'll need to investigate properly to work out if I'm on the right track or not. So you see I've got my iCar Soft out to read the codes, so we'll just get into doing that now. Obviously select Porsche, select the latest version, and we'll just look for the Macan. We'll just do a manual scan because I know it's faults in the airbag. Read the fault codes, and we can see here it's the airbag, passenger airbag sensor that is complaining about open circuit. So I know from experience that the diagrams are really written for a left-hand drive car, but this being a UK car, right-hand drive, passenger I believe will actually be on the driver's side as far as the diagrams are concerned. I saw that when I repaired the car originally. I had left off the plug for the driver's seat belt, passenger seat belt, but it complained about the driver's seat belt. I've also checked the diagrams, the wiring diagrams, and I can see that although the sensor itself for the crash sensor is described on the diagrams as being either left or right, where it connects to in the fuse box is listed as being driver or passenger. So in this case I believe that passenger is on the right hand side of the car, which should probably make sense because I'd had to repair the wiring on this side, and I'd put in a 14 pin plug to connect the original wiring into the repaired or spare loom that I ended up putting in. So probably a problem with my wiring into that plug is what I'm thinking, but it equally could be a problem with the sensor itself. Maybe the sensor's faulty, but I'm suspecting that given it's saying open circuit, I'm thinking that it probably is just a problem with my wiring, which has been getting worse over time, and the contact has maybe not been as good, so maybe it's shaking itself out of its holder. So I'll get into having a look at that connection, but first thing I'll be doing is disconnecting the battery, given that I'm going to be looking at circuits on the airbag. I was thinking that I could maybe check the continuity of the wires, and that maybe they came into this fuse box, but of course I realised that the airbag wires will go direct to the airbag module, which will be below the centre console. That's I believe where it's located, and it would involve taking the centre console to get out to get to it, just so I could check the continuity of the wiring. So I think what I'm going to do first of all is just look directly at the connection, which let's say is hiding up underneath the wheel there. I'll need to jack the car up and then loosen the wheel arch liner to get to it. Unfortunately it's probably a bit too bright for you to be able to see in there, just about see the wires up the top there where I've pulled back this wheel arch liner. So I'll just disconnect the plug now and check and see if there's anything untoward. I've disconnected the clips that hold this up into the arch, and I cannot see any problem really on the wires. The purple and, so I've turned that away, the purple and brown at this far side here are the ones that are for the airbag sensor, and you know, everything's looking quite good there. Sorry, difficult to look at what I'm looking at and also the plug at the same time, but yeah, there's nothing noticeable there. So I think I'll maybe disconnect this wheel arch liner further and see if I can see into by the sensor, and maybe I will be swapping over the sensors to check and see if the fault moves. Check the continuity between that plug there and the yellow one there, which is now disconnected from the sensor, and it shows fine continuity on both the violet and brown wires. So what I've now done is I've taken out both the sensors. I'm going to swap them over and put it back together and run it like that and see whether the fault is going to move to the other side, and that at least will then confirm whether I'm looking at a problem with the faulty sensor or whether it is my wiring, in which case I suspect it would be the other side of the plug. So obviously got two plugs here. I've checked the right hand half here, the forward part. It would surely point to the other side, so at least I'll narrow down the problem even if I don't solve it. Okay, so that's the car reassembled. Let me go into see if I can clear the code, and then see if that's resolved the situation. The only thing I really found was one of the connectors to the airbag sensor was just a bit loose, it felt. So in swapping it round, I seem to have managed to got it better on both sides, but at least yeah, so that's still the same error, was to be expected. Let me clear the yes, to continue. Erase operation done. So let's read the fault code, see if there's anything. So no fault codes found, so let me see. Come back out of this. Turn the ignition off, I'll disconnect it. And now let's see what happens when we go and start it. So the airbag light goes off and stays off, which is good news. So hopefully at least now it's resolved. It suggests that it's not really a sensor because obviously it's not going. So my suspicion is, after all that, it's maybe just actually been the connection onto the actual sensor. Now obviously that was a replacement loom I got. Somebody would obviously had to pull it off existing sensor. Whether they properly disconnected it, because the airbag connections, you can't just pull them off. You have a tab to lift before you pull them off, and maybe it had been a bit more brute forced off, which might have meant that it's not making quite as good connection. Anyway, that looks to have resolved a situation for now. I'll keep monitoring it and see if it comes back or not, but fingers crossed that's all resolved. Thank you. I just wish to confirm that after a couple of weeks and a few trips, I can see that the airbag light is not coming back on, and the work that I did to resolve the problem does seem to have worked. I'm concluding that it was just a connection between the wiring loom and the actual sensor. There's no problems with the sensor, given that moving it to the other side has not seen the problem move, and the problem hasn't come back anyway, so it just did seem to be that loose connection. So just thought I'd confirm that all seems well. Thanks for watching.